What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Asia.
And it's your boy, BJ. And we back like we never left. I don't know how I do that sometimes. Let's get on into it. But shout out to everybody in the building. Tonight, for movie night, we're going to be checking out 12 Angry Men. This is actually from 1957. So we're gonna get the pleasure of watching a classic movie in black and white.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we watch movies and you like read the title, sometimes you can kind of like read into what the movie might be about. But when they say 12 Angry Men, it means just that, 12 Angry Men.
That just sounds like something that I don't want to be a part of. Okay, I don't even need to be in sight.
You know,
I'm gonna move out the way for 12 angry. 12 Angry Men. I'm just saying.
So I'm real interested. We're real interested to see what this is all about. And I'm ready when y'all are ready.
Yeah.
Is everybody ready?
And we have to give a big, major shout out to our ultimate VIP patron, Radio Danu. Thank you so much for being a part of the fam. Thank you so much for supporting Asia and BJ as well along the way. We certainly appreciate it.
Shout out to Radio, man. We appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. And if you are new here, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe. Smash the notification bell so you don't miss any videos from Asia and BJ. Tap into the Patreon. Y'all can check out all of our unedited, uncut videos, behind the scenes footage, Patreon polls, and access to all of our TV series as well, all over on Patreon. And all of that to say, let's go ahead and jump into this video,
check it out.
y'all. You ready?
Yeah. Killer good.
You've listened to a long and complex case, murder in the first degree. It is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. It's now your duty to sit down and try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead, another man's life is at stake. If there's a reasonable doubt in your minds as to the guilt of the accused, then you must bring me a verdict of not guilty. Now, if, however, there's no reasonable doubt, then you must, in good conscience, find the accused guilty. Your verdict must be unanimous. In the event that you find the accused guilty, the death sentence is mandatory in this case. You're faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen.
The judge.
Don't be so enthused.
The jury will now retire.
Look, and it's all men.
I wonder what he did. That looks like a little boy.
Murder in the first degree.
I know, but why?
Now they go into the room where they deliberate. You think this was back when only men could vote, or only men could be on the jury?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Maybe that's why there's only men. I literally was thinking about that. I'm like, I wonder if there's...
Because it's still the 50s.
Yeah. One reason why they might be angry is because it's hot.
Doesn't make anybody angry.
Yeah.
After a while.
Okay, gentlemen, everybody's here. Now, if there's anything you want, I'll be right outside the door.
I never knew they locked the door. What'd you think?
I don't know. It just never occurred to me.
How'd you like it?
Oh, I don't know. It was pretty interesting.
I almost fell asleep. The way those lawyers talk and talk, even when it's an open and shut case like this one.
What did you think of the case? I tell you, we were lucky to get a murder case. I figured that's for an assault or burglary. Well, they can be the dullest.
He said lucky.
Yeah, you can say that again. What about that business with the knife? I mean, asking grown-up people to believe that kind of jazz, huh? Well, your horn works, now try your lights. Oh, come on, Mr. Foreman. Let's go here, huh?
Okay, man, let's take our seats, huh?
Yeah, we can all get out of here pretty quick, huh? I don't know about the rest of you, but I happen to have tickets to that ball game tonight. Yeah, we got this kid Modulewski in there. He's a real bull, this kid. You know, boom, real jug handle. You're a real baseball fan, aren't you, huh? Yeah.
You're looking at him like...
Gentlemen at the window. We'd like to get started.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have to figure this kid kills his father just like
Oh,
that.
listen, you analyze the figures, you'll see that was all.
I'm telling you,
You fellas can handle this thing any way that you want.
I think it's customary to take a preliminary vote.
Yeah, let's vote. Who knows? Maybe we can all get out of here, huh?
Okay, then just remember that this has to be 12-0 either way. All those voting guilty, please raise your hands. 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's 11 guilty. Those voting not guilty? 1.
One person.
11 guilty, 1 not guilty. Well, now we know where we are.
Boy, oh boy, there's always one.
Oh, what do we do now?
I guess we talk.
You really think he's innocent?
I don't know.
If you heard what we did, the kid's a dangerous killer.
He's 18 years old.
He stabbed his own father 4 inches into the chest. They proved it a dozen different ways in court.
Do you believe his story?
I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So how come you vote not guilty?
It's not easy to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
I honestly think the guy's guilty. Couldn't change my mind if you talked for 100 years.
We're talking about somebody's life here. We can't decide it in 5 minutes, supposing we're wrong.
Supposing this whole building should fall down on my head, you can suppose anything. Suppose we do it in 5 minutes, so what?
Let's take an hour. Ball game doesn't start till 8 o'clock.
He does have a point.
Yeah, right.
This kid's been kicked around all of his life. Born in a slum, mother dead since he was 9. It's not a very happy beginning. He's a wild, angry kid. That's all he's ever been, because he's been hit on the head by somebody once a day, every day. I just think we owe him a few words, that's all.
We don't owe him a thing. He got a fair trial, didn't he? He's lucky he got it. Know what I mean? Listen, I've lived among them all my life. You can't believe a word they say.
Wow.
Only an ignorant man can believe that. Do you think you were born with a monopoly on the truth?
Uh-oh.
Come on, we have a job to do now. Let's do it.
Well, look, maybe this is an idea. And it seems to me that it's up to the group of us to convince this gentleman that he's wrong and we're right. Maybe if we each took a couple of minutes just to, well, it was just a quick idea.
No. That's a good one. Suppose we go once around the table. I guess you're first.
Well,
He seemed like the quiet one.
I just think he's guilty. I thought it was obvious from the word go. I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of proof's on the prosecution.
I mean, somebody saw him do it.
Okay. I have no personal feelings about this. I just want to talk about facts. Number 1, the old man lived downstairs under the room where the killing took place. At 10 minutes after 12 on the night of the killing, he heard loud noises. It sounded like a fight. And he heard the kid yell out, "I'm gonna kill you." Second later, he heard a body hit the floor. Ran to the door, saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Called the police. They came in, found the old man with a knife in his chest. Now, these are facts. The kid is guilty. I know he's only 18, but he's still got to pay for what he did.
I'm with you.
It was obvious to me, anyway, that the boy's entire story was flimsy. He claimed he was at the movies during the time of the killing, and yet 1 hour later, he couldn't remember the names of the films he saw or who played in them.
What about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, nothing does. She was the one who actually saw the killing.
Now, fellas, let's go in order here, huh?
Just a minute. Here's a woman who's lying in bed. She can't sleep. She looks out the window, and right across the street, she sees the kid stick the knife into his father. The time is 12:10 on the nose. Everything fits. She swore she saw him do it.
Through the windows of a passing L train.
This L train had no passengers on it.
You don't believe the boy's story. How come you believe the woman's? She's one of them, too, isn't she?
You're a pretty smart fella, aren't you?
Okay, gentlemen. Gentlemen.
Come on, sit down.
Yeah, he eyeballing him.
Yeah. Well, what is one of them?
Yeah, they wrote him the wrong way. I don't know.
Now, can I pass it?
How about the next gentleman?
He don't even want to say why.
I was looking for a motive. That testimony from those people in the apartment across the hall. Didn't they say something about a fight, an argument between the old man and his son around about 7 o'clock that night?
It was 8
It
o'clock.
was 8 o'clock, that's right. They heard an argument, and they heard the father hit the boy twice. Finally, they saw the boy run angrily out of the house.
Part of the
Well, you
picture.
said it provided a motive. Prosecuting attorney said the same thing. I don't think that was a very strong motive. This boy's been hit so many times in his life that violence is the normal state of affairs with him. I can't see 2 slaps in the face provoking him into committing murder.
Everyone has a breaking point.
That's true.
Well, look at his record. When he was 10, he was in children's court. He threw a rock at a teacher. When he was 15, he was in reform school. He stole a car. Been arrested for mugging. He was picked up twice for knife fighting. Oh, this is a very fine boy.
Since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly.
So would I. A kid like that?
Golly.
When I was a kid, I used to call my father Sir. You ever hear a kid call his father that anymore?
Fathers don't seem to think it's important anymore.
You got any kids?
3?
I got one. 22 years old. When he was 9 years old, he ran away from a fight.
I saw it. I was so embarrassed I almost threw up. I said, I'm going to make a man out of you if I have to break you in two trying. And I made a man out of him. He was 16. We had a fight. Hit me in the jaw. He's a big kid. Haven't seen him for 2 years. Kids, work your heart out. Now let's get going.
I guess we can assume what happened that night.
Yeah.
He was born in a slum. Slums are breeding grounds for criminals. I know it, and so do you. Children from slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
The kids who crawl out of these places are real trash.
I've lived in a slum all my life. Maybe you can still smell it on me.
Now listen, Sonny.
Now,
there's nothing personal
Oh,
about
there
this.
was something personal. Come on, fella. He didn't mean you.
But he made a broad statement.
Yeah, a generalization.
Only wasting time.
Uh-oh, starting to heat up.
Down there. Let's go.
Slowly but surely.
He's the one who's keeping us in here. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Oh, no, wait. We decided to, do this a certain way.
Stop being a kid, will you?
Listen, just because I'm trying to keep this thing organized.
What are you getting so hot about? Calm down, will you?
Hey, you want to take the chair? Just take the chair. That's all.
You ever
See if
see
you can
such
keep it
a
running.
thing?
Yeah,
Nobody
that's
wants to change. You're doing a beautiful job. Sit down. Yeah, you're doing great.
Well, if you want me to tell you how I feel about it, I know as much as you do. According to testimony, the boy looks guilty. Everybody sounded so positive. I mean, nothing is that positive. There are a lot of questions I'd have liked to ask. I don't know, maybe they wouldn't have meant anything, but I began to get the feeling that the defense counsel wasn't conducting a thorough enough cross-examination. I'd have asked for another lawyer, I think. If I was on trial for my life, I'd want my lawyer to tear the prosecution witnesses to shreds, or at least try to. There was one alleged eyewitness to this killing. Someone else claims he heard the killing, saw the boy run out afterwards. Those two witnesses were the entire case for the prosecution. Supposing they're wrong.
What do you mean, supposing they're wrong? What's the point of having witnesses at all?
Could they be wrong? People make mistakes. Could they be wrong?
Well, no, I don't think so.
You know so.
Oh, come on, nobody can know a thing like that. This isn't an exact science.
That's right, it isn't.
Let's get to the point. What about the switch knife they found in the old man's chest?
There's some people who haven't talked yet. Shouldn't we go in order?
They'll get a chance to talk. Just be quiet a second, will you?
The gentleman has a right to see exhibits and evidence. Say, could you bring us the knife?
Oh, they got the weapon and everything.
This wasn't what you'd call an ordinary knife. It had a very unusual carved handle and blade. The storekeeper who sold it to him said it was the only one of its kind he had ever had in stock. They identified the death weapon in court as that very same knife. He claims that it fell through a hole in his pocket on the way to the movies and that he never saw it again. I think it's quite clear that the boy never went to the movies that night. No one at the theater identified him. He couldn't even remember the names of the pictures he saw.
I went out walking for a couple of hours last night. I bought that in a little pawn shop just 2 blocks from the boy's house.
Wow.
You mean you're asking us to believe that somebody else did the stabbing with exactly the same kind of knife?
It's possible.
Huh, he threw a monkey wrench on.
Well,
Somebody saw the kid stab his father. What more do we need?
Well, what about it? You're the only one.
I'm going to call for another vote. Vote by secret written ballot. I'll abstain. There are 11 votes for guilty. I won't stand alone. We'll take in a guilty verdict to the judge right now. But if anyone votes not guilty, we stay here and talk it out.
All right, let's do it the hard way.
I think he makes a point, though. Like, there's a possibility if he picked that knife up at 2 blocks away, then anybody could have picked up a knife 2 blocks away.
Right, and it looks identical.
And it's the same exact knife.
I'm gonna say some people changed their vote.
I think so too, because he has a valid point.
Guilty?
That's 2.
Guilty. Guilty.
Oh, not guilty.
Not guilty.
Look at this in cursive.
All right. Who was it? Come on, I want to know.
I know who it was. Brother, you really are something. Vote guilty like the rest of us, then some golden voice starts tearing your poor heart out, and you change your vote. Why don't you drop a quarter in this collection box?
Oh, now, just wait a minute. You can't talk to me like that. No, who do you think you are?
He didn't change his vote. I did.
Oh.
This gentleman has been standing alone against us. Well, it's not easy to stand alone against the ridicule of others, so he gambled for support, and I gave it to him. Right now, the vote is 10 to 2. I'm talking here. You have no right to leave this
Can't
room.
hear you. You never will. Let's sit down.
Chill out, Grandpops. Chill out. Be easy, brother. The tension's starting to rise.
You know, in advertising, I told you I worked in an agency. In an agency, when we reach a point like this, there's always some character ready with an idea, see? Some account exec will get up and he'll say, okay, here's an idea. Let's run it up the flagpole and see if anyone salutes it. It's idiotic, but it's funny.
A little excited back there. I didn't mean to get nasty.
You know what the soft sell is? Well, you got it. Believe me. I got a different technique. Laughs, drinks, jokes, tricks, you know?
Did you see that?
They flipped it.
Yeah.
You know, you do-gooders are all alike. You're always blowing your stacks over some guy in fan. But what are you wasting our time for? This kid is guilty, pal. We're gonna all get sore throats if we keep it up, you know?
What difference does it make if you get it here at the ball game?
You think he's not guilty, huh?
I don't know. It's possible.
I'm betting you've never been wronger in your life. If you're wasting your time, you ought to wrap it up.
Supposing you were the one that was on trial.
Supposing you talk us all out of this and kid really did knife his father, huh?
How can you be for sure?
I mean, he asked him a reasonable question because if it were you, you'd want somebody to take their time and trying to figure out if whether or not they gonna end your life or not.
That's a fact.
Instead of people in the back that's just like, oh yeah, hurry up and vote so we can go home.
The old man who lived downstairs heard the kid yell out, I'm going to kill you. Now, he ran to the door and saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. What does that mean to you?
Don't forget the lady across the street. She looked right in the open window and saw the boy stab his father.
She said she saw the killing through the windows of a moving elevator train.
I lived in a second-floor apartment near the L line once. When the window is open and the train goes by, the noise is almost unbearable. Let's take two pieces of testimony and try to put them together. The woman across the street saw the killing through the last two cars of a passing elevated train. The train had been roaring by the old man's window.
And he couldn't have heard it.
It's not possible he could have heard it.
You're talking about a matter of seconds. Nobody can be that accurate.
Well, I think testimony that could put a boy into the electric chair should be that accurate.
Damn.
Yeah.
And he said the window was open.
Why should he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe.
You keep coming in with these bright sayings. Why don't you send them into a paper? They pay $3 a piece.
Guy talks like that to an old man really ought to get stepped on, you know?
Uh-oh.
You ought to have more respect, mister. If you say stuff like that to him again, I'm gonna lay you out.
Oh, he's gonna step on you. Told you he's heating up.
Why do you think the old man might lie?
What? He was a very old man in a torn jacket. He walked very slowly, dragging his left leg, trying to hide it. This is a quiet, insignificant old man who has been nothing all his life. To be quoted just once, very important to him.
Oh, wait a minute.
When there
What
was
are
a
you trying
chance-
to do? Tell us it lied?
Perhaps he made himself believe he heard those words and recognized the boy's face.
How can you make up a thing like that? What do you know about it?
Why would he make up a story though?
He was saying for attention.
This phrase, how many times have all of us used it? I could kill you for that, darling. Say it every day. That doesn't mean we're really going to kill him.
Wait a minute. What are you trying to give us? Kid yelled it at the top of his lungs? Don't tell me you didn't mean it. Anybody says a thing like that the way he said it, they mean it.
Well, gee, now, I don't know. I remember I was arguing with the guy I worked next to at the bank a couple weeks ago. He called me an idiot, so I yelled at him.
This guy's trying to make you believe things that aren't so.
Do you really think the boy'd shout out a thing like that so the whole neighborhood could hear him? He's much too bright for that.
Bright? He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
Wow.
He doesn't even speak good English.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
You what?
You heard me.
And another one.
The vote is 9-3 favor of guilty.
What are you basing it on? Stories this guy made up? For crying out loud, your kid's own lawyer knew he didn't stand a chance.
He probably got a public defender.
Probably.
Oh, look, will you look at the time? Huh? Come on.
I have made some notes here. The boy looks guilty on the surface. Maybe if we go deeper... Come on, will ya? He came back home, and he was captured by 2 detectives in the hallway of his house. If he really had killed his father, why would he come back home 3 hours later?
Right. Right.
Wow.
The boy knew the knife could be identified as the one he had just bought.
Why did he leave it there in the first place?
The boy ran out in a state of panic after having just killed his father.
He would have had to be calm enough to see to it that there were no fingerprints left on the knife. Where did this panic start and where did it end?
I'll bet he figured that nobody had seen him running out and that the body wouldn't be discovered till the next day.
The woman across the street testified that she screamed. The boy certainly must have heard the scream.
I just don't think that he would have gone back.
I think there's enough doubt that we can wonder whether he was there at all during the time the killing took place.
What are you talking about? He's twisting the facts, I'm telling you. Didn't the old man see the kid running out of the house?
He says he did.
Says he did. Boy, how do you like that?
Now, look, keep the yelling down.
Oh, maybe what we need is a little yelling in here.
All those voting not guilty, please raise your hands.
Make me want to raise my hand.
I vote not guilty.
Oh. What?
Wow.
It's starting to sound like this is going up in the air.
I want you to get up and tell me why you changed your vote. Come on, now, give me a reason.
There is a reasonable doubt in my mind.
What reasonable doubt? The kid you just decided isn't guilty was seen ramming this into his father.
That's not the knife, don't you remember?
Oh, brilliant.
Now, what about the old man? He didn't get up and run to his door and see the kid tearing down the steps 15 seconds after the killing?
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
He said he went from his bedroom to the front door.
Where was the bedroom?
It was down the hall somewhere.
So how could he have gotten to the door to see that?
That fast.
If he was limping to the seat.
If he that fast.
I'd like to find out if an old man who drags one foot when he walks can get from his bedroom to his front door in 15 seconds.
Said 20 seconds.
He said 15 seconds.
He was an old man. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything?
I mean, that's what he said. That's what he said.
That's what he said. And he just said it. Yeah.
He would have had to walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet down, and open the front door, all in 15 seconds.
No way.
For an old man who had a stroke, it is a long walk.
43 feet is a long way.
I'm going to try it. See how long it took. Has anybody got a watch for the second hand?
I have.
What are we going to do, play charades now?
Oh, what are we waiting for?
Well, I want to wait till the second hand reaches 60.
Oh, come on.
It's been longer than 15 seconds.
Lock, door, stop.
Right. 41 seconds.
Dang, wait.
What's the matter with you guys? He's got to burn. You're letting him slip through our fingers.
Slip through our fingers? Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you bet I would.
Look.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch. You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts. You're a sadist.
Oh, they finna fight.
I mean, what else would you call him?
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
Oh, and he just said, I'll kill him.
Oh.
I beg pardon.
What are you so polite about?
For the same reason you're not. It's the way I was brought up. We have a responsibility. This I have always thought is a remarkable thing about democracy. We have nothing to gain or lose by our verdict. This is one of the reasons why we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
Right.
Well said.
If nobody else has an idea, I might have a cutie here. But let's throw it out on the stoop and see if the cat licks it up. If the boy. Well, look how dark it's getting out there. I bet we're going to have a storm now.
Maybe we should take another vote.
Well, that's okay with me.
Look how they're sweating.
I could vote guilty.
Not guilty.
Uh-oh.
Guilty.
Of course.
Guilty.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
That's 6 and 6, I think.
The vote is now 6-6.
And we go into extra innings here, huh?
Man, it swung. They sweating through them shirts, boy.
Right?
It's hot.
How come you change your vote?
Well, it just seemed to me there was room for doubt.
Oh, come on. You think too much, you get mixed up.
Now, listen, I don't think you have any right, loudmouth.
Look at that. Calm down, will you?
Hey, huh? Well, things are looking up here, huh? Why? Better. Hey, 2 points.
That's a damn stupid thing to do.
He said, that's a damn stupid thing to do.
Off the backboard.
I mean, where does he come off calling me a sadist and everything? You're just trying to bait me.
He did an excellent job.
And I think he meant it.
We're going nowhere here. I'm ready to walk into court right now and declare a hung jury.
Yeah, I go for that, too.
You still don't think there's room for reasonable doubt?
No, I don't.
Maybe you don't fully understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean, I don't understand? They come over here running for their life, and before they can take a deep breath, they're telling us how to run the show, huh?
Sheesh.
An important point for the prosecution was the fact that the boy couldn't remember the names of the movies or the stars who appeared in them.
The boy couldn't remember the names of the movies he saw because he wasn't there that night.
The boy was questioned by the detectives in the kitchen of his apartment, while the body of his father was lying on the floor in the bedroom. Do you think you could remember details under those circumstances?
I do.
Where were you last night?
My wife and I went to the movies.
What did you see?
The Scarlet Circle.
What was the second feature?
I'll tell you in a minute. The, remarkable Mrs. Bainbridge. The remarkable Mrs. Bainbridge.
I saw that. It's called The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge.
Who was in The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge?
I'd never heard of him before. Unknown.
And you weren't under an emotional stress, were you?
No.
I think the point is made.
Big point. Boy is guilty, period.
He not budging at all.
There was this whole business about the stab wound and how it was made, the downward angle of it, you know. Now, the boy was 5 feet 7 inches tall. His father was 6'2". It's a very awkward thing to stab down into the chest of someone who's more than half a foot taller than you are.
I'll give you a demonstration. Somebody get up. I'll make myself about 6 or 7 inches shorter, okay?
What's it all
Now, this is the way I'd stab a man who was taller than I was. Down and in.
Give me that.
Maybe he didn't hold it like that, though.
Anybody here ever see a knife fight? Oh, I have.
Most people would do this instead of this, I feel like.
He'd never use it like this.
Right.
You would just juke him.
Underhanded.
That makes more sense to me.
It's called a juke.
How do you know? Were you in the room when the father was killed?
No.
So what are you giving us all this mumbo-jumbo for? I don't believe it.
I'm getting a little tired of this yakety-yakking back and forth. It's getting us nowhere. I changed my vote to not guilty.
Oh.
You what? You heard me. I had enough.
What kind of a man are you? Who tells you that you have the right to play like this with a man's life?
Now, wait a minute.
If you want to vote not guilty, then do it because you are convinced the man is not guilty, not because you've had enough. Or don't you have the guts to do what you think is right?
Want another vote?
Okay, all those voting not guilty, raise your hands.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Uh-oh.
Look.
9.
Well, the vote's 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. I mean, all these picky little points you keep bringing up, they don't mean nothing. Look, you know how these people lie? It's born in them. I mean, what the heck? I don't have to tell you.
These people.
Oh, they're real big drinkers, all of them. And bang, someone's lying in the gutter. That's the way they are, by nature. Violent. Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us. Oh, sure, there's some good things about them, too. I've known a couple who were okay, but that's the exception, you know what I mean? Most of them, it's like they have no feelings. They can do anything. What's going on here?
What that mean? Why they all getting up and walking off?
I get up and walk from the table from him, too.
They're no good. There's not a one of them who's any good.
Because he sound prejudiced.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. You're
Them
right.
people.
Yeah.
This kid on trial here, he's his type. Well, don't you know about them? These people are dangerous.
These people.
Listen to me.
I have. Now sit down and don't open your mouth again.
Please don't open your mouth no more. God. Because it makes you sound more and more ignorant.
Right.
It's always difficult to keep personal prejudice out of a thing like this. We may be trying to let a guilty man go free. I don't know. No jury can declare a man guilty unless it's sure. We 9 can't understand how you 3 are still so sure.
You've made some excellent points, but I still believe the boy is guilty of murder. The evidence given by the woman across the street.
As far as I'm concerned, it's the most important testimony.
As far as I can see it, this is unshakable testimony.
Well, that's the whole case.
I mean, she is an eyewitness.
Someone before mentioned 7 o'clock. I think that's a point at which we might begin to discuss the question of whether we're a hung jury or not.
You made a gesture that reminded me of something. I was wondering why you rub your nose like that. Is it because of your eyeglasses?
It is.
Your eyeglasses made those 2 deep impressions and the size of your nose.
Listen, will you come on already with the optometrist bit?
The woman who testified that she saw the killing had those same marks on the sides of her nose.
Oh, he's smush, you know he's right.
Uh-oh.
Did you ever see a woman who had to wear glasses and didn't want to because she thinks they spoil her looks?
Okay, she had marks on her nose from glasses, right? She didn't want to wear them out of the house so people would think she's gorgeous. But when she saw this kid killing his father, she was in the house alone.
Sleep.
Do you wear glasses when you go to bed?
No, I don't. No
And I
one
bet-
wears eyeglasses to bed.
And I bet she didn't either.
Maybe she honestly thought she saw the boy kill his father. I say she only saw a blur.
Maybe she was farsighted. What do you know about it?
I only know the woman's eyesight is in question now. Don't you think the woman might have made a mistake?
No. No, it's not possible.
This guy.
Is it possible?
Not guilty.
You think he's guilty?
You?
No. I'm convinced. Not guilty.
What's the matter with you? Well, what about all the other evidence?
Well, you said we could throw out all the other evidence.
That's what he said. He said it.
Well, what do you want? I say he's guilty.
We want to hear your arguments.
I gave you my arguments.
We're not convinced. We want to hear them again.
Majority rules. Let's hear it.
Everything that's gone on has been twisted and turned. I'm telling you, I've got all the facts here.
I think this is more personal to him.
I think so too. Because they still looking at him like, well,
He the one that hadn't seen his son in 2 years.
they're not convinced.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. Rotten kids, you work your life out.
See, that's why I feel like he's saying that he's guilty because he want to just throw it all away. Like, his son not talking to him, so get rid of his too. Or theirs. Or whoever he belonged to.
That's what I'm saying. Look, he said it.
Not guilty. We're ready now.
What's your name?
Davis.
My name's McCardle. Well, so long.
So long.
Did you get a little teary-eyed at the end?
No.
When he started ripping up the picture, the photo and everything?
It's just crazy because like when this first came on and they were kind of giving the details of like, you know, everything that this kid had done, I was like, no way there's just the one person that thinks that he's not guilty. And then my only thought was, how is he about to convince everybody else? Because just listening to what they said just off the top of like what happened, just going down the line, like it sounded like he guilty to me. But then as they started going through and unfolding like everything, all the details, like had they not really broke that down the way that they did from the man going to the front door, he said 12 feet and then the hallway was 43 feet. And then the L train coming by and the lady seeing through the last two cars. The fact that she didn't have on the glasses, because I know all about the blur. Mm-hmm. I know how that goes. Especially if you are, nearsighted? That you can't see far away, right? Yeah. You nearsighted and you see spots and colors and blurs. Like, there's no way she would have been able to see through that train 60 feet away at nighttime
laying
through
in the
the
bed,
train.
laying through the bed.
Laying in the bed.
Right.
There's no possible way she could have seen anything. Like, maybe somebody heard something, but I don't even know how they would have heard anything if the train was going by.
Right.
That's not possible, because even when it started raining, we listening to the rainfall, not a train come through, and we still can barely hear.
Right, and then I think it was ironic the fact that it was raining while they were there deliberating as well too. And then the whole time while I was sitting there too, and everybody's kind of like going back and forth, and the more they talk about it and deliberate, people started like, some of them started started changing as far as, guilty and not guilty. And the whole time I was sitting, I'm just like, I would never want to like leave my life in the hands of like a jury.
I know.
To go in and go into a room and deliberate like this, because, it showed you so many like kind of like complex ways of how all 12 of them thought. I wouldn't even necessarily say complex, because all of it came down to like their own personal experiences, maybe where they came from, socially, economically, like all of that kind of like played a part early on, even to the very, very end, regarding like if they wanted to say guilty or not guilty. And I feel like that's what this kind of like broke down as all 12 angry men were back there deliberating. It's like you saw why they thought the way that they thought.
Yeah. Well, and then it portrayed the picture of like realism in a sense too, by you saying that, just for the fact that, perhaps when people do have to go and stand into a jury like that people's personal feelings start getting involved with how they make their decision, their personal beliefs, what they think, like, even when they're prejudiced and
that gets in the way of really trying to like get down to like
the real fact, like what's really real, like what's your facts versus like the real facts at hand, and put it into a perspective of taking yourself out of the picture,
like
take your own feelings
opinion
and your emotions. And detach from that, because this has nothing to do with you. This is somebody else's life, basically. And that man was about to make his decision solely on how he felt about those people.
And the very last guy, the one that eventually said not guilty, like he stuck to his guns because he personally went through the same type of issue with his son, where it got physical, and he had spoken to his son in 2 years when, whatever situation happened between them probably got physical, and it probably could have ended the exact same way.
Right. And I feel like that was really what was, because it seemed like it broke him down to have to say not guilty. That hurt him to have to say not guilty, even though he felt in his heart that everything that they were saying and probably the facts that they were kind of starting to come up with as it started unfolding, it started unraveling in his mind, like, this is not going the way that I wanted it to go.
It does.
Because at the end of the day, like, I want this boy to be guilty, and that's it. Because of how I feel, well, what we've been through, what I went through.
His own personal.
Yeah.
And then for the simple fact, just like watching how everything just unfolded like throughout the movie, I'm almost losing my train of thought for a second. But yeah, just regarding like the whole thing of reasonable doubt. Now you see like the power of like reasonable doubt. Like the reason why you have to be able to create that doubt in somebody's mind. Yeah. Because if you have any shadow of a doubt, then, and it's reasonable, any shadow of reasonable doubt, then, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Right. Yeah. This man. Okay. Yeah. This guy. I promise you though, because watching this, I was like, "There's no way that this one guy is about to convince all these people by the time this movie's over with." There's
at first.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, well, he gonna be the only one that holds out throughout the entire movie, and then the one guy, the older guy that shook his hand at the end, he kind of jumped on. He was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna support him."
He was also one of the first ones that said not guilty too. Yeah, and then eventually they all broke it down.
Yeah, he said he was only doing it because he was supporting the one guy. So, but I think he really started feeling what he was saying ultimately.
And I also think that obviously he got acquitted of killing his father. As far as him being the kid that was on trial for being being not guilty, but it could have been a self-defense. You never know what it could have really actually been at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well,
with someone trying to build a case against you.
Yeah, even with the knife thing, because he was like, they were all like, I never seen a knife like that. I'd never seen that before. And he was like, I bought this 2 blocks around the corner from where this all went down, where all this happened. Yeah. So for y'all to say that y'all never seen it, I seen it, I got it.
And I think one of the good perspectives that actually that helped was the man that said he lived in the slums and he lived in the area, and he kind of brought a completely different point of view to everybody, and it kind of opened everybody's eyes. So, like I said, with 12 Angry Men, now we know why this movie's called 12 Angry Men. But yeah, I mean, it's just like all 12 of them were different in their own right, and that's what played a part in them coming to the decision that they came to.
Yeah, great movie choice. This was actually really good. Really, really good. So, y'all tap in. Let us know what y'all think about this down in the comment section. How did y'all start out thinking about this movie? Because I'm telling y'all, I knew I was like,
Yeah, and how did
he did it.
And how did it make you feel, too? Because I felt at one point, I got really, really heated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I got angry, so they can say 13 angry men.
Yeah. And if y'all enjoyed it, give us a big thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe. Smash the notification bell so you don't miss any videos from Asia and BJ. And if ain't nobody else told you, I love you. And we're going to see y'all in the next video.
Absolutely, y'all. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.
Peace and blessings.